how do we rebuild romance and connection?
So as I was just saying, we want to try to do that by, uh, I was listening to a guy the other day, matter of fact, on Hallmark, and he was saying
Wait a
he
minute, wait a minute. Can anything good come out of Hallmark? Oh, wait a minute. That was Nazareth, wasn't it?
It was,
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
But anyway, return your curiosity. And I said, that's great. So how when we start dating, you ask like open-ended questions,
Yeah,
like,
because we're trying.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
trying to
get to
get to
know
know
you.
me.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So those, we need to keep those going, about maybe
Hey, by the
something.
way, I'm sorry. I was joking about Hallmark. I was joking about Hallmark. I was kidding. Okay, keep going.
Okay. But anyway, so return to curiosity.
Okay,
That's a good place to start. Start spending that time together and talking open
okay,
and giving
okay.
each other time to express. Reclaim intentional touch. So, do that touch, do that, be intentional about it. Giving a hug, giving a kiss. That's so important.
Now, let me add. Not only is that important to your relationship,
But it's good for the kids to
there
see.
you go.
Yes,
There you
the
go. That's
kids
super
need to
important.
see.
That's exactly right.
There was a study years ago, and I don't know where it was, but it was like a child know that there's conflict or a problem at the age of 3 if between their parents. Did you know that they can sense
No, I
it?
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. He's aware of it. So you've seen children. Well, they'll say, "Come on, mom. Come on, dad. Hold hands."
Yeah.
Something like that, because they see something isn't quite right here, and I don't like it.
Okay, now I think it's important to mention here that I think, you tell me if you're going to agree with this, I think it's good for your children to see healthy conflict and the resolution. Because the whole idea, I never saw my parents argue.
Yeah.
Now you're in a relationship, your child's in a relationship, they're married, they're having conflict, and they're going like, this ain't right because my parents never argued. They've been married 50 years, never saw them argue. So I think it's good as long as your conflict is healthy. Now, if your conflict involves a lot of things that we teach not to do in conflict, yelling, screaming, name calling,
Yeah, all
bad
those
language, and
things.
whatever. But if your conflict is healthy, I think it's good for your children to see that. And then it's also good, even if you don't resolve on the spot, it's good to come back and say to them, we did resolve. I remember something from our relationship early on to the point that you're talking about when you and I would have a disagreement, and I could tell, because again, it wasn't like we went into a separate room. It was like if we had a disagreement, because we ain't yelling and screaming, it was in front of the kids, right? And it was not what I thought was unhealthy.
Right.
But to your point about kids, that I could see that they were negatively impacted by that disagreement we had. So I remember one day I sat them down and I said, guys, let me just go over something with you. So going forward, you're clear on this. Your mom and I, this ain't going anywhere. Your mom and I are going to always be together. There's never a chance, there's never a time when your mom and I are not going to be together. And again, I don't remember their ages, and I don't even remember if the kids will remember this, but as I remember it from that time forward, the disagreements had a different kind of way of landing on them with that assurance. Does that make sense? I don't know if I ever tell you the story.
No, I don't think you've ever told me that story.
Yeah. So, all right. So reclaim intentional touch. You talked about that. Schedule sacred time. Oh my gosh. Schedule sacred time.
Not just dates.
Yeah. Now
but just time to be together.
Here was my
engaging.
Here was my experience, and maybe this was just us. I don't know if this is generally speaking or not. That was harder for you to do than me.
Because I was always doing something.
So do you think, generally speaking, it's harder for women to do than men?
I would say sometimes yes.
But
now I think we need it, but sometimes we don't stop. But we do need it.
Here's what I remember. I wish I could remember the details. You and I were sitting on an airplane. Kids were small. I can't remember if we had 2 or 4, 2, 3 or 4. But it might have been just the twins.
Okay.
And we were sitting on an airplane getting ready to go somewhere. You looked at me, and this may be the first break we had in ever, right? And you looked at me and said, "Oh, I really miss him."
I know you. Yes.
I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, "Miss who?" And I wasn't trying to be funny. I didn't know who you were talking about, but you were talking about the kids.
Yes.
So I'm going like, this is the first
remember.
break we had in 6 months, a year, whatever. Not only do I not miss him, I only remember who you're talking about.
It was 2 years.
Was
They were two.
Are we two? Okay, you remember?
And we were going to Scottsdale.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I did. And I did say I missed them because I hadn't been without them in those 2 years. Not on a trip or anything. We had done, maybe a date or something, but we hadn't been anywhere.
So how does a husband, and I'm sure most husbands are more tactful than I am. How should I have tried to understand your concern and not be dismissive?
Okay.
But at the same time, making you know how important this is for this time away. How should I have better handled it? Because my response was, what is she even talking about? So what would be the better way to handle it?
You could have said, sweetheart, I know you missed the kids. I know you missed the kids, but it's okay. You need time away as well. We need time together, so let's enjoy our time together. Something like that, But
Wow.
yeah, just acknowledge that my feelings and then just say.
Because I was thinking, I don't know if I said this, but I was thinking, she's talking crazy. That's what I was thinking. So what you talking? I don't think I said that. Maybe I did. Sometimes I can't separate what I'm thinking and what I'm saying. But anyway,
I like this next one. Play around, have fun, laughter.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll say, "Oh, you're so cute. I really like that you have on," or something like that. Those type things, kind of joking, sharing some hobbies or something if y'all want to. I mean, I don't know what kind of hobbies do we share besides travel, walking.
Yeah, travel, walking, the gym.
Gym, yeah.
Going out to dinner.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily like the flowers or anything.
No.
Don't
Oh
care
my
for
gosh!
that.
And then your Christmas present is a mistake I made by getting you the bird feeder with the camera.
Yeah.
So I'm not engrossed in bird life like you are. That's.
I think that's so. They're so pretty.
I knew you would enjoy that gift. I'm not sure I knew how much you would enjoy the gift.
Oh, it's just been fantastic.
Anyway, so invite vulnerability, share fears, dreams, and struggles regularly.
And those things, when you do share those things, it brings you closer and it helps you understand how she might respond in a way. And you think, why is she responding like that? But if you've shared some of those vulnerable places or whatever, then I can see why she's thinking that right now. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Right.
Pray together. Spiritual intimacy reignites emotional and physical intimacy. Hey, this is hard to do without praying. I mean, parenting is a big job. Hopefully, if you don't have children, you are understanding. God designed marriage to be more than functional. It's meant to be flourishing.
Right.
So it's not enough just, hey, we're staying married. That's a good start, but that's not enough. So when couples shift from merely surviving together to pursuing each other again, they rediscover not just partnership but passion.
I like this scripture that comes from Psalms from Solomon, and I'm just going to read it because it says, "Let him kiss me, and with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is more delightful than wine."
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
That's Solomon.
Okay.
Songs of Solomon 1:2. I think that's so beautiful. So it also goes to show you how important God thought this thing was.
Wow.
That we stay together as a team, that we're united front. He thought that was important, and then bring these children in under that. Isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful.
He's an awesome God, I tell you.
Let's talk about kind of divisions of labor. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but when the responsibilities of running a household, because here's the thing, and it doesn't, here's what I see. Tell me if you see. So we're both working. It's not a stay-at-home mom situation. We're both working, but oftentimes the husband comes home and still feels like these are my wife's responsibilities.
I've heard that.
Talk about that.